Oh my goodness, you are such an inspiration. Wow, you really are. You're so strong. Can I pet your service dog? Ugh. 1, 2, 3, let's go! We are artists, parents, teachers, good guys, bad guys, students, leaders. I'm not your inspiration, yeah, I'm fully who I am. Got my own expectations that don't fit into your plans. I'm not your sad story, so I wrote it in this song. Everything you know about disability is wrong. Yeah, everything you know. Yeah, everything you know about disability is wrong.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Everything You Know About Disability is Wrong.
Today on the podcast, we have autism advocate, world traveler, and you may have seen him on Netflix's hit series, Love on the Spectrum. Welcome to the podcast, Subodh Garg and his sister, Aarti Garg.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on today.
Yes.
Our pleasure. Thank you for having us.
This is an exciting episode for me and for everyone because it is Autism Acceptance Month this month. So happy Autism Acceptance Month, Subodh.
Happy Autism Acceptance Month.
We started this podcast, with the title, Everything You Know About Disability is Wrong, because sometimes people have odd expectations of what different disabilities are. So for this Autism Acceptance Month episode, I'd love to start out by asking, what do you, Subodh and your sister, what do you have to say about what you want people to know about autism?
Yeah. What do you want to know about people for autism is the study of neurodiversity and the study of brains. Brain, that's where sometimes they have communication issues, but they kind of improve their communications.
What's something that people would be surprised about you to know? What's something that you want people to know about your autism?
I'm going to say about life.
Okay. Like what?
Like I got everything lined up.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, can you elaborate?
I got everything lined up for my life because I just broke up with 2 girlfriends, but they're not equal. It didn't work out. But on my third try, but I'm going to start dating and end up lining up for my life. So I can.
That's awesome. I think that some people definitely think that if you have autism, you maybe won't have your life lined up like that. So it's good to share that you're doing what you want. You're in the dating game. 2 ex-girlfriends and on them ready for number 3. That's going to be great. Erin and I have talked about on a lot of other episodes that, disability doesn't mean that you have a sad or negative life. You have everything lined up and are having a good time.
Yes, I have
Aarti,
everything lined up.
I love that. That's so great to hear. Aarti, as Subodh's sister, what has your experience been like, and what do you wish people knew about autism?
Gosh, it's been such a roller coaster. Subodh is my older brother. He's 3 years older than me, so I've known nothing else than being his sister, basically. So my experience is so unique compared to others in similar situations because the spectrum is so vast and so diverse. One thing that I think surprises people about Subodh that I've noticed is that he's so social. He loves and he craves and wants to be around people. He wants to have that human connection. He doesn't like being alone too much. He wants to have a family. He wants to have children.
And also get proposed, engaged, married, career, and a degree.
All these things. He has these really common but ambitious goals for his life. And I think people are taken aback by that and surprised that he thinks so far in the future, that he's not just focused on whatever's going on now. Everything he's doing in his life now is to build his future for himself. And so that self-advocacy, I think, surprises people a lot. And the fact that he wants to attend social events and he wants to connect with people, he wants to get married. All these things are really common human wants from the neurotypical community. But it's something that he wants too. And I think one of the things about Love on the Spectrum that really was wonderful, and I'm sure we can discuss this later, but one thing that was wonderful about the show is that it brought this common human experience for want of connection and love to people on the spectrum, and that was something that had never been done before, really. People on the spectrum were commonly infantilized. They were thought of as children or kids. They were thought to be, they were thought of as cutesy and whatever, but showing that they want the same things as we do was amazing. One of the most amazing things about the show. So I would say just that he wants the same things that everyone else does is a surprise to people, but it shouldn't be, but it is.
It shouldn't be, but that's so often the case of many various disabilities that people are surprised that we're human. And
Right.
Subodh, I totally relate because I'm autistic as well, and feel like people think that if you're autistic, you must be an introvert. But I'm like you, I'm an extrovert. I like to have people around. It makes me feel good. And you bring up that one of your big goals does have to do with falling in love and getting proposed to and getting married. Another thing we have in common, so we're both Indian, and I think that's a big part of Indian culture as well, is that maybe it's pressure or maybe it's expectation, but that finding your person is a really important step in adulthood. So I love that you got to kind of share with the world how important that is to you on Love on the Spectrum. So the last time we talked, we were talking a bit about special interests, and you told me that one of your special interests is world geography. How did you first get into world geography, and what do you like to learn about specifically?
For world geography, I like to study about the world cities and the maps.
Do you have favorite cities?
What made you interested in world geography?
I just like to travel across the world. And I like to go on airlines.
What age did you start getting interested in world geography?
At, I guess, 7.
7 years old. So yeah, a long time.
That's awesome. And you like the experience of being on airplanes?
Yes, I love airplanes, but then I'm going to try to earn more miles on the card.
Oh yeah, miles are important. And I sometimes find airplanes a little overwhelming, so I think that's interesting that you really like them. Do you have a favorite?
I'm sorry, just really quick.
No, go ahead.
One thing that my parents were very lucky to have in our parents is that we've been traveling on planes since we were babies, basically. My parents are both from India. Our parents are both from India, and we would go to India basically every year since we were kids. And so they got us used to being on planes quite a bit. And the journey to India is so long that there's a layover in between. And so we'd be on planes all the time. So to us, it was not a big thing. So we're very fortunate to have those experiences and those opportunities as children to really acclimate. And my mom especially made a special effort when we were kids to expose him to as many things as possible to try to help him, get used to things, because it is hard. One of the key hallmarks of autism is difficulty with change. And so,
but now things changed a lot.
Yeah, things have changed quite a lot. Yes. And so that's something that she did intentionally to help him. And that, I think that's really paid off, that approach.
And you think that the experiences you had as a child are helpful? Do you think that's how you're better at handling change now?
Yes, I'm better at handling change right now.
That's awesome. The flight to India is very long. Doing that every year is very impressive. Kudos to your parents for making that happen. My family's only done it a few times because it's such a long journey. But it's really beautiful, and it's a wonder. That's really cool that you've been so many times. You had another special interest you told me about, which was that you really like money management. Do you think that has to do? I love that. Do you think that has to do with your future goals too?
Yes. And I'm learning.
And when did you start learning?
I started learning in 2011, but then I got my able account in 2017. So
What's that account?
Able account.
Can you explain what it is?
Able account is something that you save up your money for.
It's a savings account for people with disabilities that parents can set up for their children. So it's a special type of savings account.
And also, and I'm learning how to check up for airfares a lot, but then I just check it up.
So, what is your money management for?
To check up for airfares.
No, in general, why do you manage your money carefully?
So I can save up for my next trip or a free trip.
Nice.
Yeah, he knows that, like, in order to afford a grand trip, he has to manage his money. So once he sets his mind to something, he's very goal driven. He has that goal, and he has his eye on the prize.
Yes.
Yeah, it seems like your two special interests are very intertwined. Like, the world geography makes you love traveling, and then loving traveling makes you want to manage your money so you can travel more. Erin, what were you going to ask?
So I want to know, Subodh, where do you want to go next?
I prefer to go with Italy and Australia.
Oh, nice. I would love to go to Italy and Australia.
Yes.
And India.
Oh, yeah. So we just got back from India last month. That was our first trip as the four of us going together in over a decade. So that was really nice because we've gone piecemeal, like in different combinations and permutations since. But
then I really wanted to go to Australia.
I know.
Australia.
Let me finish. I'll finish talking about the India trip and then we can continue. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, we went, the four of us. We had a great time. Subodh and I traveled for 2 weeks and with our parents. We saw a lot of family again. It was really great. It was nice to go back. But yeah, now our next trip on the horizon is probably Australia. We'd love to go.
Yes.
Do you want to? What makes you want to go to Australia?
I really want to go to see the Great Barrier Reef.
You want to explain how you love snorkeling?
I just like snorkeling because I would like to learn how to go underwater.
What do you like about snorkeling?
I just like to use a dry snorkel, a mask, and I like to use flippers, and I would like to be more physical and active.
Yeah, swimming is a great way to do that.
I just like to go underwater.
I love being underwater. It's like one of my favorite things in the whole world. Like, I think it has to do with being autistic because it's like the sensory experience of it. But if I'm like having a bad day, I can go swim and it will fix it. Like, I've learned that if I'm having like a meltdown, I can go get in water and it really helps me feel better. So that's another thing we have in common. That's really cool. So that makes sense that you love snorkeling. Have you snorkeled in other places?
I just went to go to Florida in 2023 last year. Then I went to go to Catalina Island and on to Mexico.
Wow, that's amazing. You have a lot of amazing experiences.
Yes.
That's so cool. You have mentioned a lot of specific dates, and your sister told me the last time we spoke that that's a really great skill you have, that you are like really great with dates. Will you tell me about that?
I like to know, and I like to know about the dates of the 2000s and the 2010s.
Can you name any significant things, milestones from your life? Any dates that you can name off?
I'm going to say 10/1/2004.
What happened that day?
I was just in high school.
What did you do that day?
I just had to study.
You studied? Okay. What's another milestone date? Do you remember the date you graduated from high school?
It was June 13, 2007.
Okay. What about the date you moved to Westwood?
The date that I moved to Westwood, that was 9/5/2011.
Okay. Do you remember what day that was?
That's awesome.
Monday, September 5th, 2011.
Wow, you have a phenomenal memory.
Yeah. He does. What about the date that you took a trip somewhere? What was your favorite trip from the 2000s?
It was Hawaii in 2008.
Do you remember what day that was that you left?
That was July 3rd, 2008.
That was your favorite trip. You went snorkeling there, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow,
Subodh has a
that's
remarkable
incredible.
memory. Yeah.
Do you remember things from when you were really young too?
I don't remember.
Okay, so that makes sense. It's like more recent trips, but that's awesome. I don't even remember like what the date was last week.
Today.
So that's amazing. Well, I love, we can talk more about traveling later too, but I think that's an amazing both hobby, special interest, and it sounds like it really like helped open you up to new experiences at a young age, which I bet has been helpful just in general in
I
life.
think it
So that's
really built a great foundation for the way that he thinks that helped him open his mind up to possibilities. Again, that was really given by our parents, a really huge gift that our parents took us to travel so often. We were really lucky that they took care of us like that.
Okay.
They took
That's
us
amazing.
so many places.
Okay.
that's a recurring theme on this podcast is me, Erin, and our guest talking about having great parents that
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
like
Makes all the
really
difference.
yeah, especially in terms of not underestimating, you know, like
Yeah.
the fact that your mom and dad wanted to expose you to as many things as possible instead of being like, oh, our child is different, we need to shelter him away. I think that's really amazing. And Erin and I both have similar experiences where our parents just decided to push isn't the right word, but like give us lots of experiences and hold us to the same standards they would hold us to if we didn't have our disabilities. So I think that's incredible.
I think a slight challenging the comfort zone is really a theme that my mom had and helped us grow as people for sure. So especially.
Yes.
Shout out to moms. We've said shout out to moms in like 4
Every
episodes now.
Yeah.
Moms are great. They're so good. All right. Want to talk about the next topic?
Yes.
I would
Say
love
your
to
famous
know.
line.
My,
What topics?
my famous line about topics that I am now a celebrity.
What is that line?
No, he says change the topic.
I just kind of am just deciding.
He says it all the time.
I'm just deciding.
I think it's a great thing to say, change the topic. And more people should just say that when they don't want to talk about something. Just change the topic. Do you have merch yet that says change the topic?
Not with that line, but we're working on it. We have other merch though, which is really fun.
Awesome.
Some of those other big quotes from the show. Remember which quotes?
Um,
You had your money one. What was that quote?
for my money, I just like to budget money so well on my able accounts.
What was the quote you said on the show about money?
I am now doing cameras right now, and I'm now a celebrity.
You are a celebrity. I love that.
Yes.
I mean, you have so many quotes, you don't even remember your famous quotes.
Actually, yeah.
That's celebrity
And that's
level.
That's just his language. For us, they're quotes, but for him, that's just what he says.
That's so cool. Well, speaking of celebrity, Erin has a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah. What was it like to be on Love on the Spectrum?
For Love on the Spectrum, I would like to find dates.
But how was it being on season 1? What was that like?
The season 1 looked like that I am looking good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did look good.
When you watched it back, did you feel really good about yourself? Like when you saw yourself in the episodes?
Yes.
What
And
did
then-
that do for your confidence?
For my confidence, someone found me a date for you.
So Subodh struggles with pronoun reversal. So sometimes his language, it's a little confusing, but he's working on it with Grammarly, right?
Yes, I am working with Grammarly.
To improve his grammar. So sometimes he says things that may not make sense, but his pronouns, he gets a little confused sometimes.
Yes.
That's okay.
Oh, that's really good to know, though, because I think that, you know, that's something that once now you've told us, it's easy for us to adjust and understand what you're saying.
Yes, exactly. Otherwise, if
and
you try to take it at face value, you might get confused. But well, I got used to it. Now I understand what he's saying. He was
yeah,
saying in that sentence, he was saying that someone found him a date. For someone found him a date for himself. So
and that
I
really
think
helped
speaking
confidence.
from
I
a
love
little
that.
more of an outside perspective, I think Subodh really loved. Did you enjoy your experience on Love on the Spectrum?
Yes, I did.
What was your favorite part of the show?
My favorite part of the show is to go out on dates.
Yeah, he really enjoyed his dates. I mean, for us, it was really going on the show was really about getting him a girlfriend. It was not really about being on TV, being a celebrity, whatever. So for us, the fact that he got to meet someone that he's been wanting to do for so long, that was really what it was all about for us. And for him too. So the filming part was kind of secondary to the actual experience of going on dates with Dawn finally. So he really enjoyed it. And the Jennifer, the dating coach, did some amazing work with him. He still uses those skills today. So it was amazing.
Yeah, Jennifer's amazing. That do you remember any of the things that Jennifer taught you when you worked with her?
Is to learn how to cuddle, kiss, and touch.
No, what did
Oh,
she
that's-
teach you?
About how to find the right person.
Do you remember your session with Jennifer?
It was in 2021.
Right? What did you guys talk about?
We just talked about on how to follow guidelines with your girlfriend.
Like what?
Like you have to plan things out. You have to get out of the house. You have to hug, kiss, and touch
Appropriately. Right?
appropriately.
Yeah.
Yeah, and however you want to. You don't have to do anything you don't want to, but that's really great. And I think that Jennifer, her role in the show is one of my favorite parts of the show, just because for me, when I started dating, I feel like there's so many like things that you're just supposed to know about how conversation works,
right,
and how to do that. But if no one explicitly states that, they don't teach dating in school.
I know,
But
did. I'll tell you, the neurotypical folks, we struggle with it too. I felt like there was a day I missed at school where they taught social skills and how to date properly, and I just never attended, and there was no makeup class. That's how I always feel. So you're not alone there. You guys are not alone. The whole world feels like that. We all kind of have that imposter syndrome on how to date properly.
yeah. Do you, now that you've dated a little bit and have had a couple of girlfriends, are you more excited to get back out there and start looking for your next love?
Yes, I would like to look out for the next love if it's the right person who is loyal to me, like if who is equal together.
That's wonderful.
Beautiful.
And loyalty is an important quality to you?
Yes, loyalty is so important for me.
I love that. Do you have any other qualities you're really looking for?
Loyalty, nice, kind, beautiful, cuddly.
Sounds amazing. And that's another misconception people have. I feel like people thinking that autistic people are like, don't want to be around other people, or also don't want to be touched. Like, I love to be hugged when it's consensual and I enjoy it, like, so I think that's really wonderful that you're looking for that. So, and have you stayed in touch with the cast from Love on the Spectrum?
I always do. Now
That's
I
wonderful.
used to not have contacts, but now I do it a lot.
That's amazing. Do you text with them or just meet up in person?
I just text them up and meet up in person.
That's so great.
Can you say who we hang out with in LA?
Who do we hang out? I'll say Aubrey, Allison, David and Abby, Devin and Andrea.
Oh, amazing.
So
David and
Allison
Abby.
and Aubrey are David's siblings. They're triplets.
That's
So we
right. I
hang
think
out
I've
with
seen them on Instagram.
a lot. Yeah, no, they're amazing. And we all live in the same metro area, the Los Angeles metro area. So we get together
Oh.
all the time, and it's been amazing connecting with them and being friends with everyone. It's such a pleasure. And Danny, of course.
Danny.
That's so cool. I'm so excited. That's just like such a wonderful community that has been built from that show. I follow all of you on Instagram, and it's always great when you're like posting pictures that you've all gathered. It's so wonderful.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So outside of love on the spectrum, how has it been trying to date?
How has it been trying to date? Is to have conversations back and forth.
Are you finding dates easily?
Yes, I do those kind of online.
Like who?
Oh,
Nice. How do
Who
you
are
do
you
it
meeting
online?
or how are you meeting them?
I just meet them online because I would like to swipe left or right.
But have you
Ooh.
connected with someone or you just want to?
Just want to,
But have you been able to yet?
but not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Have you been able to find a lot of dates so far?
Not right now.
Not yet, yeah. Dating was a huge struggle before the show, and it's still kind of a struggle now.
Yeah.
Even though Subodh has this big platform, everyone loves and knows who he is. Finding the right person is really challenging. And you know, he went through a breakup somewhat recently with someone he met online, and getting the word out there, trying to find the right person for him. It's tough, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. Breakups can be really hard. Breakups can be really hard. Have you leaned on your family for support as you've been going through a breakup?
A lot.
Yeah. That's so wonderful that you have your family to support you through times like that. Because that's the tricky part of dating, is that dating itself is really fun, but breakups and heartbreak are really hard.
Okay.
Have you? But your breakup was a little bit ago, and now you're feeling ready to start dating again, or are you still getting over that breakup?
Half and half.
That makes sense. It takes time.
What do you mean by half and half?
Half the time he kind of feels sad and depressed and anxious and anxiety for the breakup, and then I'm just so happy to find another love.
Yeah, I think that makes
Yes, complicated.
I think that makes complete sense, and it's like it's almost hard to fully get over a breakup without like putting yourself out there to try again. But all those emotions you just expressed, that makes a lot of sense, and especially now that you're a celebrity, you have to like share that you're going through a breakup publicly. That's kind of difficult. I saw you post about when I think it was a post from your family sharing that you were no longer with that person anymore. What was that like? Like, how did you feel about having to share that with the world?
I'll clarify.
Oh, great.
So
that makes sense.
I can clarify the question. She's asking, how does it feel? How did it feel when the breakup happened and we announced it on Instagram? How did you feel about the announcement?
I just don't know.
No emotions about the announcement?
Sometimes emotions. It was just so depressing, anxious, and anxiety, and abandoned.
Oh, so you're not abandoned.
Not abandoned.
But it definitely can feel that way, especially when dating is something you've wanted to do for so long, and then it doesn't work out. That's really hard. I'm sorry you went through that, and I really am hopeful that you'll find a person soon.
Yes.
I've definitely been through breakups. That have made me feel so depressed and so anxious. So I think that makes a lot of sense. And but it won't stop you from getting back out there. That's great.
Right, Subodh?
Yes.
Go find someone. If anyone's listening and wants to connect with Subodh, you should reach out.
Yeah, but you have to be loyal and kind and smart, cuddly, and beautiful, right? That's the
Yes.
qualifiers.
Yes.
Okay, so if you are all of those things, then reach out.
Please let us know.
That's awesome. Are there, now that you've been on TV, are there any other TV shows you want to be on?
The other TV shows that I really want to be on is the is the is kind of a autism spectrum, dating, love, and weddings and marriages and proposals and engagement, trying to line up for my life.
So other dating shows, maybe?
We're just deciding if we can create that one or not.
That'd be amazing. I saw you post something online about The Bachelor and how fun it would be if they did an autistic bachelor.
Yes.
Can you tell us about what you like, Subodh?
For the autistic bachelor, that means we're going to have 10 men on the left and 10 women on the right, for all autistic.
And then
would
what
be
will
awesome.
happen?
That means somebody can choose a partner, or I can choose a partner.
And what happens throughout the show
That-
at the end?
That means we'll congratulate you to my husband and my wife, and I'll give them a hug, a kiss, and a touch, a proposal ring, an engagement ring, and I'm going to hug as long as I want.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, the Bachelor show does end in an engagement, so that would be a perfect show for you. That's what you're looking for.
Yes.
That would be amazing. Any other show you'd like to be on, Subodh?
Nothing else.
I mean, game show?
No, let's not talk about
I
it.
don't want to talk about game shows. That's okay.
Let's
Change
talk
the
about
topic.
it. Change the topic.
Change the topic. I think that would be really cool though if like other reality shows that already exist started to better incorporate disability. I think it's wild that we have these like so many dating shows. We think about like Love is Blind and The Bachelor and all these different things, but none of them really talk about disability at all. I think that would be amazing representation to start including disability in mainstream reality shows. And that might take some of the pressure off of shows like Love on the Spectrum, because I feel like Love on the Spectrum gets a lot of critique for not being like the perfect representation.
Of course.
But no one show is ever going to be the perfect representation. That's why you need like many shows. And I think that's important because that happens in pretty much any disability representation. I remember the first time we were recording an episode for this podcast, I was really anxious because I was like, does this podcast have the like expectation that it's supposed to represent all disability perfectly? And like, there's never going to be one thing that represents all disability perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when there's a show. Have you heard of The Good Doctor, Subodh?
Yes.
There's a show called The Good Doctor that's on ABC. It's the main character has autism. He's a surgeon. And I remember reading online. I've been watching it since the first episode. Obviously, I have a vested interest in the topic. There's been a lot of critique about the show. Why is Sean doing this? Why don't they show that? I'm autistic, but I do this, everything like that. And it's just it's a singular take on autism. As you said, I think you said it perfectly. There's no way to perfectly represent the whole community. I think having more representation, destigmatizing, and exposing the world to what autism can look like would be so amazing for the autism community. That would be so beautiful to see. I would love to see some more representation out there.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, you're doing that by creating content on Instagram. You have a pretty major following. What has that been like, growing your following like that?
Growing my following look like for traveling _ Subodh, I've been on it a lot.
And how do you feel about posting on that page?
It's kind of downhill.
Why is that?
Because I was about to log in, but then it's because you don't want to mess up the post.
So what about all the posts that are on your Instagram? How do you feel about the posts? Do you enjoy posting?
I enjoy posting.
What do you like? What's your favorite content to post on Instagram?
My favorite content to post is, what kind of books do you like to read?
Asking questions?
Asking questions.
Hey, Erin posts a ton about books.
Yes, I love to read.
Do you want to ask her your question?
What do you like to read, Erin?
I like fantasy, and science fiction.
I just like to read about travel.
Travel, nice. What's your favorite book?
I just like Lonely Planet.
Lonely Planet, nice.
Yes.
Awesome.
I don't think I've read that. Erin, will you tell us and our listeners about the Disability Readathon? I feel like that's a great time to talk about this on the show.
Yeah, so I host the Disability Readathon with my friend Anna, and it's all about disability representation in books, in TV, and on film, on movies. And it's the entire month of April, and we chat about what we're reading. We do different events throughout the month, and it's really, really fun. And we have a website. It's disabilityreadathon.com.
Can you participate, Subodh?
Yes.
Can you read some more travel books? That'd be cool.
Yes, that would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. You're able to share what you're reading. So if you ever want to do that, just send us a message and we can share that on our Instagram.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like stuff like that, like books and TV shows and just content in general, is such a good way to make connections with people. Because, like, sometimes knowing how to socialize can be kind of difficult, but it can be easy if you just remember, like, oh, I'm going to ask, what's your favorite book? Or what's your favorite movie? Like, you can learn so much about people.
100%.
Do you have a favorite movie?
My favorite movie is I just like Aquaman.
Oh, cool.
Is that your
That
favorite
fits
movie?
with the theme of loving to swim and loving to be in the water.
Yes.
That's your favorite movie?
Aquaman.
Okay. Wow. I'm learning stuff too about Subodh.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Do you want to talk about the Peers program really briefly and tell about how they taught you your social skills?
When I was in the Peers program, my social skills taught me how to socialize.
And what did they teach you in the program?
They want to learn how to feel comfortable about going to socials and social etiquette, like hugging, kissing, and touching girls and boys. That means that's not proper social etiquette. That means you don't want to hug, and it scares people off. And also leaving a message for all the professionals, but they're not their friends.
Mm.
And also for stay-at-home moms, they used to be my friend, but now they're all married and have their kids, and they don't want to be his friend anymore.
Oh, that's hard when people get really busy and then they don't want to talk anymore.
Yeah.
That's tough. Did you meet people in the Peers program?
Yeah, I used to meet them in the Peers program, but now they're all independent.
Who did you meet? Who are some friends from the Peers program?
I don't remember them.
Was Max part of it?
Max used to be part of it, but now he is working.
Oh, wow.
Max was his
Is
roommate
that
when he lived
Oh,
there.
cool.
So just to give a little background, the Peers program is a program by Dr. Les Lageson, a researcher at UCLA. And it's a program, a social program for adults with special needs, and it gives them. It's like how long was the program?
It was a 2-month program.
Yeah, about 8 to 10 weeks program that gave framework on how to socialize in different situations, and it really helped Subodh blossom when it came to socializing. So it gave him topics, as you said, what's good small talk, like what's your favorite book, what's your favorite movie, and it gave parameters on what's appropriate for each circle of people. So you have the closest people to you that you can hug, then you have friends, you can give a small hug, acquaintances, no touching at all, things like that. It was an amazing program. It helped him a lot.
Yes.
Helped him understand the world. It was kind of like that crash course in socializing that we were talking about. It was like a day in school where they taught how to interact with people in society.
Yes, people in society.
That's amazing. that's really wonderful. I wonder if you could share what you learned in programs like that, maybe on your Instagram, like share some informational stuff for other autistic people who might want to learn what you learned. That'd be amazing.
We should connect with Dr. Lagerson and see if we can make a series of posts. That'd be great.
Yes. Yes.
That'd be amazing. And we know you're great at collaboration. Listeners, Subodh is part of the Easterseals upcoming set of video series about understanding autism better. So stay tuned. Those will be available on Easterseals social medias and website and things like that. But I know you're great at collaboration because that was a lot of fun. And I had a lot of fun working with you, getting to share just how autistic traits kind of present with people who might not know that. I have another question about Instagram. How do you make sure to practice online safety? Because sometimes people can not be very trustworthy online. So do you work with your family to help run your Instagram? How does that work? And how do you make sure to stay safe online?
First, let Aarti do the safety precautions first, like safety boundaries or personal boundaries or professional boundaries.
Yeah, so I kind of, so he and I are both logged into his Instagram, and I monitor it. Honestly, I monitor it more closely than he does. I'm the one that's usually, helping him manage his comments and his messages and things like that. So usually I'm able to catch things as they come in. And so I stay pretty diligent about making sure that he's not exposed to anything harmful, any kind of scams. There's a lot of stuff that's come up. But Subodh is he loves having his platform to share his journey with people, connect with people, make friends, but he's not on Instagram all the time. But if something comes up, I'll be like, hey, Subodh, we got this thing on Instagram, like, let's talk about it. And so usually I'm able to see things that come in and dispose of them accordingly. So I appreciate the trust in me because I try to keep him safe for the most part, but I'm only human also.
Well, that's wonderful that your sister is there to help, because sometimes people online can be really mean, and there's no need for you to see that. I wish I had. Honestly, you want to come monitor my Instagram and just delete any mean stuff? I think everyone should have someone else logged into their Instagram that just deletes mean comments.
Yeah,
there's really no need to see that.
Yeah, there's no need. It's not productive for him or for us. And honestly, the platform is meant to be an expression of joy and inspiration and just exposing who he is in a very genuine, real way. So of course there's haters online, but I will say, as a credit to the community, the vast majority of comments and messages are always so positive. People really love Subodh. How do you feel about your fans? Do you like them?
I like them.
That's
amazing.
Good
fan encounters online or in person?
I do it only in person, but I just do not know about online.
Online, usually we will sit and do it together. Yeah.
That's wonderful. So, you get a lot of support, it seems like, from your sister and family in general. You kind of mentioned when we were talking last time that you've had different support people in your life and different help. How has support changed throughout your life? Like, who are you working with now?
I am working with right now. It's kind of planning the schedule is kind of a little bit tough because I have a lot of stuff going on.
Who are your service providers right now? Can you list them?
I just like the Humber Regional Center.
What else?
I just don't like creative support that much because I'm now going to start becoming fully independent.
But are you getting services from creative support?
Not as much. I don't attend the socials that much anymore because they have a lot of things going on, like their work, their family, their health.
You're talking about yourself.
That makes sense.
Yes.
What other services are you getting?
I'm going to start getting new services.
currently right now, what services are you getting?
Why are you asking?
That's the question. What are you getting right now?
I don't get them as much.
What about best
Got it.
friends?
For best buddies, they're kind of good, but I need to work more on my skill. And if you're a fully skillful adult, that means I just want to apply it for myself.
I get
What
that. So you
services
really
are
kind
they
of crave independence.
He really does.
What do you mean he really does, Aarti?
She was saying that you really crave independence.
Crave independence.
That makes sense. Because that kind of aligns with your goals, that you want to be independent, have a family, get your degree, things like that. How, you get a lot of support from your sister. How do the two of you maintain a sibling relationship while also,
I just don't like sibling relationships because sisters you don't go marry sisters. It's not allowed.
Of course.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
But
I mean more, how does your
relationship is our sibling bond. That's what she means by relationship.
Yeah, so your sister helps you out with certain things, but one thing you said to me the last time we talked was that Aarti's your sister, not your mom. And that is important.
Yeah, you don't go date sisters or marry sisters.
Correct on that. Absolutely correct on that. But are you able to get support and still just be like sister friendship with your sister rather than feeling like she's a caretaker or anything like that?
She used to be a caretaker, but I'm just slowing it down right now. We're just working towards slowing down.
Do you feel like
that makes sense?
Hang out for the siblings? Not about me helping you, but do we ever hang out?
Somewhat.
So is it difficult sometimes with me?
Sometimes it can be difficult.
Okay.
Fair. Well, it's a hard balance that, sometimes when you get support from family members, this is something we deal with a lot just in the disability community in general. When caretaking kind of crosses into other relationships, whether that's like family or romantic or just friendship. I know that sometimes with my partner, when I'm having like a lot of meltdowns or having a hard time verbalizing, it can sometimes put him in the position of being my caretaker rather than my boyfriend. And that's just something interesting to kind of manage. So I think that's really interesting that she used to support you a bit more, but you're working more towards independence now.
I will say that we've lived together since 2019. We've been roommates. But I don't necessarily feel like his caretaker. I don't really interfere in his life. I'm not involved in his life in his daily life. So he and I are fully independent. Like we don't really interact too much at home unless we're doing something, unless we're intentionally doing something, but he cooks all his own food. He cooks for me sometimes, actually a lot. He cooks for me all the time, which is really nice. Because it's so busy, I get overwhelmed, but he cooks himself. He does his own laundry. He cleans his own room. He does all his own grooming. Like everything is fully independent. I do support him when it comes to arranging for social media things or taking him to special events. When we're having conversations like this and the questions maybe are a little bit more cerebral than he can comprehend, I'll help kind of translate for him a little bit. But otherwise, he's fully independent. I don't really feel like his caretaker. I feel more like his manager, if anything. But I don't feel like his caretaker.
That's cool, because you're a celebrity. You need a manager.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, yeah, just like when we invite them to Thaiji's or Thaoji's house, I sometimes say, I'm not going, or maybe, but we do not have the details.
Sometimes I ask him to attend a social event. He says no. I have to explain to him why it's important. Sometimes we compromise on timing. Sometimes I'll say, you know what, you're right, go ahead and stay home. Or sometimes I insist and say, so this is really important. We can't just say no for no reason. And he listens, and then we go do the thing, whatever it is. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm his caretaker. I definitely am involved in some parts of his life, but he's remarkably independent. I don't get involved in his day-to-day life at all.
I know Lucy used to come to the sea house a lot, but now she doesn't go there as much because she has a lot of things going on.
So they don't know who Lucy is. We can move on to another topic. Okay.
As someone who cleans that, she used to clean up the house, but she doesn't come to sea house that much.
I know, so
Got
you
it.
clean up your own stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he cleans up his own stuff.
Cool. Well, for the final part of the interview, we don't have that much time left, but we like to talk about the pillars of Easterseals. So Easterseals is working for equity and access when it comes to community, education, employment, healthcare, and transportation. So we talked about community a little bit, that you found some really great community with Love on the Spectrum. Do you have other autistic friends in your life that you can like find community with?
Yes, I can look for autistic friends who is nearly the same age as me.
Do you currently have autistic friends?
I used to, but now they have to start living closer to family where they used to grow up at. But now they just choose to move on to something else, and they just chose not to be on Facebook because they're now all working professionals who are on the autism spectrum.
Yeah, I think that's a thing that most Americans face in general, that like it's really hard to have community and work. Erin, we've talked about this.
Yeah, it's hard to make friends as an adult if you're working, if you have a family. It's just really, because you're not, you make friends at work, but if you're not working, how do you make friends as an adult? It's really difficult, but it can happen. I think online spaces really help to do that. Because all my friends are online, which is fun.
I'm going to start going online.
Yeah, you should. Totally.
I'm going to start going online.
Yeah, and you should make friends online, because friends can turn into a partner, a romantic partner. So just like start off as friends and see what happens.
Yeah.
Erin, what regional center did you used to be with, and are you still with it?
I do not have that, but I live in New Jersey.
So and maybe different system there.
Yeah, I have Medicaid. But yeah, I mostly get like my friends are all online, and I do have some friends in person, but as I said, they're really busy with their job or their family, so it's like, okay.
Yeah, that kind of brings us to another topic, which is transportation, because I know you've mentioned that it's hard sometimes to get to your friends, and you're in the Los Angeles area, not the greatest public transportation. What's that? Do you take the bus? Do you are you able to get to your friends?
I do it sometimes, but the population is kind of getting less because of their busy working people.
Can you what do you use for transportation, Subodh?
I use Access, and sometimes I do buses. Sometimes.
Can you explain what Access is?
It's just a paratransit service, so I just don't want to take so many buses from Cerritos to Los Angeles or Cerritos to Orange County.
So it's a rideshare service for people with disabilities.
That's awesome.
Special needs. Yeah, it's amazing. It really helps him a lot. So he doesn't drive, but Access really gives him the capability to travel pretty much across all of LA Metro. It's pretty amazing.
Oh, but I'm going for my short-term goal. I'm going to start taking my DMV test. I'm going to try it.
That's a great short-term goal. That's awesome.
Oh, you know what? There were some people with disabilities who want to learn how to drive.
Definitely. And it's great that there's options like that, access for people who can't drive. I think that's really wonderful. I think that microtransit is the future, like the kind of ride share, schedulable. That's really great.
But for microtransit, they pay less. But for Uber and Lyft, they are way more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Uber and Lyft is super expensive, especially lately. And public transit's great when it's accessible, but sometimes it's not, which is tough.
Yeah, he takes a public transpo if there's not too many transfers, but with transfers it gets a little confusing, right?
It kind of gets a little bit of confusing.
That makes sense. Yeah, it can be kind of confusing. So
Hey.
you mentioned that one of your, what were you going to say?
Sorry, go on, Lily.
You can go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say.
Let's let Lily finish off the conversation.
Okay. What I was going to say is that you mentioned that you have an education goal of that you want to get a degree.
Yeah.
And you and I talked a little bit about, you'd asked me some questions about my degree. What do you want to get a degree in, and what other educational goals do you have?
I'm just gonna earn a degree in business so I can work for the business.
That'd be awesome. Do you work right now?
I am currently working right now for 2 different jobs. I work for Teledelis and Insight, but my job developer is trying to get a full-time career.
That's exciting. Who's your job developer with?
Araceli,
Where does she work?
For Best Buddies.
Oh, that's really great. And do you like your 2 jobs right now?
I love my 2 jobs.
What are they specifically? What do you do at each job?
For Teledelis, I do the loaves.
Cool.
The loaves, and then I do invoices and roll-ups and cookies.
Nice. And what about the other one?
Insight. Sometimes I do payments for most of the time, but then they couldn't find work at Insight for just 3 other days.
Got it. So you go
when we have
Best
work
Buddies.
for him. So Insight is our family business, actually.
Oh, cool.
And so Insight, when we have work for him, what kind of work do you do for Insight?
I like to do AP and AR agings and top 10s.
What about
Cool.
file conversion?
I love file conversions.
He does a great job, honestly. He does such good work.
I do not like file conversions. Anything computer related, I'm not good at it. So that's amazing that you're good at it.
Yes.
You like file conversions. You're like good at technology stuff.
Yes, technology stuff.
I'm so bad at it. Like so bad. I get so frustrated at computers. Well, that's amazing. I'm really glad that you have 2 jobs you like. Do you have a dream? You said you were hoping to get a full-time job. Do you know what you'd like to do?
I would like to do a lot of accounts payable, and accounts receivable, and then I'll try to become an accountant.
That'd be amazing. I think that you are set up for success on your journey towards your goals.
Yes.
We're also a family of accountants. I'm a CPA myself. My dad is,
Awesome.
my mom also. So our business is in accounting. We do accounting work. So he has it in his veins.
But daddy doesn't go to work that much.
Yeah, he's semi-retired.
He's semi-retired, so that's why mommy had to take over.
Yeah.
That's awesome that you have a family business and you can all get to work together a little bit. That's really wonderful.
I'm going to try to apply for a different job.
Cool. What job are you going to apply for?
I'm going to apply for an accounting business that's not a family business, like Laserfish.
Cool. That makes sense. That aligns with your other goals of independence, that you kind of want to carve out your own path.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. My final question, talking about healthcare, is, well, it's kind of a multiple part question. The first part of it is, how old were you when you were diagnosed with autism?
I guess about 3 years old.
Okay. And do you remember that, or have you just been told that?
I've just been told that.
I don't remember when I was 3 either. Do you remember what services you used? Like, did you do any specific therapies growing up? And are you still doing any of them now?
For the speech and
What else?
speech.
What about the hyperbaric one?
Hyperbaric. I just haven't come at the hyperbaric in a long time, but then for my speech, I just knew it already
What age?
What's
did you start-
hyperbaric? I've never heard of that.
at 5 years old.
He started speaking when he was 6, actually. He's nonverbal till he was 6, and he did ABA therapy at 6 years old. Can you explain what a hyperbaric chamber is?
It's something that you calm your anxiety down.
Oh.
A hyperbaric chamber is where it's a chamber that you lay down in, right? You lay down?
Yes.
You lay down in this chamber, and it's a high level of oxygen. I think it's 100% saturation of oxygen, pure oxygen. You're saturated in it, in that chamber, for how long were the sessions?
It was 40 times in a year.
But how long? How many minutes?
Just about 60 minutes.
So about an hour. You sit in this
Wow.
chamber with that super level of oxygen, and it's supposed to help your brain heal in different ways. And I was young at the time, but when he did it, apparently it did help calm his anxiety quite a bit, and helped him a lot, grow a lot from those chambers. So it's non-medicinal, obviously. I don't know the exact science behind it, but it helps him a lot.
That's awesome.
He did a lot of
Yeah.
different speech therapies as a kid. Do you remember Doris?
I remember Doris, but she's retired or she may be alive.
Do you remember what therapies he did with Doris?
The computers.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
Did a lot of there was someone we worked with that did a lot of therapies on the computer. Well, she hooked him up to brain things, right?
Yeah.
What are those called? I forgot what they're called. Diodes. Like they would put him on.
Cool.
Put those on his head, and he would use his brain power to drive the program. So it was teaching him how to strengthen his brain power. Again, I was a kid. I don't remember exactly what it was all about, but he's had probably dozens of different kinds of therapies, and who knows what was effective and what wasn't. I mean, it's really.
I used to know as a friend from 2003 to 11 because she is now retired. She hasn't seen them in a long time, but she may be alive or not.
Yeah,
That was a therapist you worked with?
yeah, Doris. And
Yeah,
he
there's-
sees a psychotherapist now that he's been with for many years.
I guess 7 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she helps him a lot there too.
Oh, but I'm not doing much help as much right now, but I'm just slowing it down.
And that's
Got it.
fine.
We're just working towards that.
Yes.
That's
he
awesome.
wants to I think his goal is to have no services, be able to just have no services. But all of these things he's been able to get through the regional center, and they've been a really huge help in getting the therapies that he's needed. So that was having his services coordinator. He just has had a huge community of help in his life, mostly from my mom, building that community for him. But they've all contributed in some way or another.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite
You know,
therapy you've done?
I just like the West Side Regional Center. I used to be there.
Well, what therapies did you like? What service was your favorite from them?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
Don't remember.
That's okay.
That's
And
great, though,
Erin?
that you had a lot of different options and were able to try different things and figure out what worked for you. I think that a lot of people think that there's only like one autism therapy, but there's so many different things to try. So that's wonderful that you were able to find the supports that worked for you. And, you know, that's part of the work that Erin and I do for Easterseals is helping people learn about Easterseals, which provides a lot of supports for people all around the country. So that's really
Lily?
wonderful. I'm glad that yeah.
Do you know what the West Side Regional Center is?
No, I've never been there. Is it in Los Angeles?
It's in Los Angeles, Culver City.
Oh, cool. No, I've never been there, but I go to LA sometimes, so maybe the next time I go, I can check it out.
Oh yes, I've been with the West Side Regional Center for 8 years, from 2011 to 19.
That's amazing. Well, I'm so happy to hear about all the different supports you've had, and I think that your goal for total independence is awesome, but I also think there's nothing wrong with getting the support that you need, because I need supports, and I'll need supports my entire life probably. And and I think it's important to be okay with that and know that you can be a very successful adult and still need a lot of support. Having support and getting services does not make you a less accomplished adult.
What happens if you're gone without services?
If I don't have services, like I need a lot of help with my anxiety, and I have a therapist that I work with who helps me with some of my an autistic quality that I have is I like ruminate, or I think about the same thing kind of over and over again. So I have a therapist.
I just don't want to.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like it either. It like thinking about the same thing over and over. It's not very fun. So I have a therapist that I work with, and I think I'll probably use her forever.
Do you know how hard is it to hire a new therapist or find a different therapist?
It was hard. I was looking for a long time because I specifically wanted to find an Indian therapist that I could work with who could help me out with my understanding my identity. And that's been really amazing. But yeah, I think I'll have that support my entire life, and I am super okay with that. And I know, Erin, you probably feel the same way, that having supports is not a bad thing. It's actually really great.
Right. You can still be independent and need help. Because not on.
I just don't need help.
Okay, everybody needs help to live.
Erin?
Yeah.
How often do you go on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn?
Every day.
Yeah, Erin and I spend a lot of time on social media because we do that for our job. Yeah. But we can add you on. I'll definitely add you on Instagram.
Yeah.
Erin, how often do you travel, and what sports do you play, Erin?
I don't play any sports, but I like to watch hockey, and I don't travel that much.
How come you don't travel that much when you're working or when you have a disability?
Well, it's not very accessible, but also I like to stay in the house a lot. I'm like an introvert, so I don't really like to travel too much.
What social clubs do you attend?
None, because I'm very antisocial. But I do like events online. I play games with my friends, video games. But yeah, I don't really like to go out too much.
Everyone's interests are different, so
yes,
right. Her interests are staying home and playing games. Your interests are traveling and doing things like that. So everyone has different interests.
Yes,
it's normal.
That's awesome. Thanks for asking us questions too. This has been such a wonderful interview. Before we head out, do you have any final questions for us, Subodh?
For my final question.
It's okay if you don't have anything else to ask.
He has too many questions to ask.
It's too many questions to ask. I want to say thank you for all that about my life. Life helped me a lot.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on this podcast and sharing information and letting us get to know you a little better. This has been really fun. And I think our listeners will really enjoy this episode, and we'll be excited to see you in the upcoming Autism Acceptance video series. And I know we'll work together more in the future. And, I'm always really excited to get to talk to another autistic person. Specifically, I just don't really have any other friends who are autistic and Indian. So that's really wonderful to have that in common with you and get to have talked to you twice this week. I really appreciate it. And I'm really grateful we got to talk so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you guys so much for having us. It was such a pleasure. And please keep in touch. We love to add to our arsenal of friends.
If you liked what you heard, go ahead and subscribe and leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts.
Thank you to our listeners, and as always, thank you to Easterseals for giving us the space and resources to share such authentic conversations from within the disability community to our listeners.
And we'll see you next time for another episode of Everything You Know About Disability is Wrong.
Everything you know about disability is wrong.
This is a podcast brought to you by Easterseals.
You know, we actually work for Easterseals, but maybe our listeners don't know what we do.
That's true. Easterseals is leading the way to full access, equity, and inclusion for disabled people and their families.
And did you know we've been doing this for more than a century?
This includes helping disabled people find meaningful employment and addressing healthcare needs for all ages.
We're proud to serve communities across the country and ready for the next 100 years. For more, check out Easterseals.com.